Hello, dear friends. Today we have our guest, Michael, medical doctor, who is passionate of ancient archaeology. We will be talking about a lot of interesting stuff, which might lead us to interesting points of view at our history as humanity. So let's begin, and let's begin maybe from a little introduction from our guest. Michael, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm a medical doctor, pediatric surgeon to be precise, and besides that, and the reason that I'm here today with you, it's because I met one of your members, Olga, in Egypt. I've been researching these subjects about human ancient archaeological subjects for about 10 years, but I never had the opportunity, mainly because of the residency and lack of time and money, to do something with it. Fortunately for me, I found somebody to share this passion with. I met my second half this year, and the funny thing about it is the fact that I was the first person who told her about this subject. She lived her whole life in a mainstream point of view, and she was so astonished about with these topics that she said, "My God, why to wait? Let's go to Egypt." So we went. And I came back from Egypt with about 64 gigabytes of video material, of details of signs that these sculptures, these stones, were made using advanced tools.
When and why did you start to learn about ancient history and archaeology?
Well, it's been almost a decade. When I was about 26 years old, I was already able, when I finished the medical university, graduated from the medical university in Gdańsk. By this time, I answered two main questions that were on my mind always. That is, what's the point of living, the sense of human life? And I worked up the notion of who made us. And there was a third question that I haven't answered by then. That was what are human origins? And that pointed me to starting some research just for myself. The first person that I talked about this subject was the late Lloyd Pye, a researcher thanks to whom I got to know about Sumerian tablets and the alternative points of view on human history and our origins.
Could you share with us your experiences and discoveries during your visit to Egypt, and specifically your exploration of the Serapeum of Saqqara?
Well, there's a lot to talk about because I found a lot of details that are really astonishing, that I spectated with widely open eyes. For example, the Serapeum. It's a very small complex. When you're going to the Serapeum, you're wondering where am I going, because there's nothing, there's a desert. And then you go underground, and there is a small complex, square corridors, which end up with a dead end, with an extension of one of these sides of this square. And there are niches with chests, and I use this word precisely because mainstream archaeology regards them as sarcophagi. And I could show you real sarcophagi that are surely not made by dynastic Egyptians. They are in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and they are in the shape of human body. So they probably were coffins, right? And the difference between them and the chests in the Serapeum is that the chests in the Serapeum are gigantic. They weigh between 50 and 70 tons. They're made of black granite or basalt, and they are astonishing to look upon. So I reject totally the mainstream point of view that they were sarcophagi, as in storage chests or coffins for human bodies. Besides the fact that when they were finally opened, there was nothing there inside. So the notion that they are kind of coffins there's no merit in it. just no merit in it.
What else did you found in Egypt?
Well, fortunately for me, I took a laser pointer with me to Serapeum, and I was able to check the surface of those chests. And I can tell you that the diagonal, even on the diagonal of these chests, they are perfect. They are perfect. You can use the laser pointer and show how the beam of light goes straight from one end to the other, and shows you that the chest is just perfectly made. Besides that, in those which are open, or the one that was open as a first one using dynamite, when you point the laser pointer light to the one wall inside, the one interior wall, you're gonna see that it reflects the light to the other walls. So they are perfectly smooth. They are masterfully crafted, and they raise more questions than they answer.
Yeah, because probably even nowadays technologies can repeat that, right?
Well, funny that you mentioned that, because I met an archaeologist there, and we had a very small but very interesting talk about this chest, and he said that they made an experiment. They gave the project of this chest with every details. And asked German stonemasonry manufacturing company to reproduce it. The funny answer was that they could reproduce the outer walls, the outer dimensions and the perfect 90 degrees angles, but they had no idea how to reproduce the interior, how to make the walls parallel, and how to make 90.002 angles that are inside.
Yeah, that's indeed makes impression, right?
Yeah, and it decisively we can decisively say that dynastic Egyptians wouldn't be able to make them with copper chisels or iron chisels, right? If today, in the 21st century, German manufacturing company can't reproduce them.
Yeah, so that's indeed wonderful findings there. Thank you. So let us maybe go to next questions. So in your research and studies, have you come across any evidence or finding that challenge the traditional understanding of ancient civilization and suggest that our current civilization is not the first on Earth?
There are a lot of researchers that talk about it, that talk about Sumerian tablets. I generally don't want to go this far, because I think that the main problem with accepting alternative point of view on human history is the fact that almost all the researchers up until now made the same mistake. They overwhelm the viewer. They go all the way with their assumptions, and these are assumptions, these are not facts. And if you want to make impression on somebody, if you want to convince somebody to your line of thought, you have to remember how our psyche works. When you live your whole life with some paradigms, you have your beliefs, and they are encrusted in your being, in your self-awareness. It is very hard to change your point of view. You have to get solid proofs, and if somebody gives you assumptions, you're starting to think, you reject them, because your psyche reacts with a denial, right? That's why I don't want to go too far. My goal with the YouTube channel that I'm just now starting is only to show things that you can see with your own eyes and touch with your own hands. I hope to show people who, for example, have no time to spare, or they have no money to go to Egypt, for example, Egypt, to show them like they were in this place, signs of tool marks. For example, in the Egyptian museum, in the main room, there is something that I wonder how mainstream archaeologists could have left this in the museum. Why didn't they hide it somewhere in the basement?
Yes,
like a lot
there
of
is-
skeletons in the basement that they possess. There is a red granite chest with tool markings from cylindric drills. Why did they leave it there? I don't know.
It is another thing that cannot be done by our.
By copper chisels, no.
Yes,
For sure, no.
That is another thing that
We could do such markings right now with power tools, for sure. But red granite is a very hard stone, one of the hardest stone to work with. So you had to use a diamond drill probably.
And also, I remember with our private talk, you were mentioning some findings from Malta as well. Are those also pointing to the idea that our civilization is not the first?
Well, you have to leave something for my YouTube channel.
Okay. Yes, sure.
But
Okay.
I can say something about it. The main thing that I tried to study on Malta was the cart routes. Have you ever heard about the cart routes?
Maybe in the film of Graham Hancock on the Netflix, but yeah, please continue.
For those of the viewers that never heard of cart routes, imagine a road in the woods, a muddy road in the woods after rains, and imagine a truck carrying wood going through this mud. It would leave a distinct grooves, parallel grooves in the mud. And now let's talk about Malta. Imagine those same trucks, but in stone. The subject has been researched for a couple hundred of years, and up until now, nobody has decisive idea who made them, when they were made, and using what tools and for what purpose.
Exactly. What are some of the alternative historical theories or perspectives that you find intriguing and worth exploring further?
Well, my main point of interest are Sumerian tablets, which happen to precisely answer the question that I told you in the beginning of the interview, of where are our origins. I'm not gonna try to convince anyone that Sumerians couldn't have a science fiction part of their library, but it's very curious for me that on tablets made of clay, do you know how they are made? You have a pile of clay that you form in the form of a tablet. Then you use a stylus made of cane, made of straw, and you write on it with it, and then you bake this plate. So that's how they are made. So it doesn't concern. It's not very high technology. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it doesn't need
It's nothing that.
It's not rocket science.
No, not intricate science. That's right. So regardless of the fact how they are made, and it's, as we said, not intricate science, on these tablets you have informations that could be considered a great science fiction script. That some other race came to the earth and genetically manufactured us in the Garden of Eden. That was a technological station. There are even genetical problems. They talk about genetical problems that this race encountered trying to produce humans. And besides that, they talk about the Tower of Babel, about the flood. And I have only one question about it. As I said, I'm not trying to convince anybody that this story is true. My question is, how is it possible that such informations are stored in tablets of clay? How is it possible? That's something that intrigues me like nothing else on this planet.
Yeah, I like very much one phrase of Graham Hancock in his film Ancient Apocalypse. Yes.
Yeah, Netflix hit.
Yes, that humanity has an amnesia.
Yeah,
amnesia.
Yes, and and I think that he's precisely right. That we just don't know our history. The unfortunate thing is that, as we talked earlier, people's psyche is designed in a way that it rejects something that doesn't go along with the paradigms that you were brought with, and that's the same with mainstream archaeologists. They defend their legacy, their knowledge, the things that they were working on. So that's why they're fighting.
Yeah.
With any deviations from their theories.
Yeah. Have you encountered any resistance or skepticism from the mainstream archaeological community regarding your alternative historical research? If so, how do you respond to those criticisms?
Well, that I'm just starting the idea with this YouTube channel, so I haven't encountered any resistance yet. I'm sure we're gonna encounter it in the future. And how would I respond to it? With humility, because I don't have to be right. Mm-hmm. No one who will be watching this channel doesn't have to agree with me. Mm-hmm. As I said, it is very hard to change someone's point of view if your whole psyche goes around this notion that human civilization started in Sumeria about 5,000 or 6,000 years ago, and there was nothing before but caves. Mm-hmm. So to change someone's mind who has believed this point of view for his whole life is a very tough thing to do. I'm gonna try to do it like Graham Hancock did with the Ancient Apocalypse, mm-hmm. because I don't know, have you noticed the fact that the series mm-hmm. is very simple. Yes. It's very vague. He doesn't want to steer the hornet's nest, so he's very, very simple with these topics.
Covering just slightly covering the topics.
He slightly covers the topics. He wants to be very gentle with it, and I applaud to him because that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Gradually.
Gradually, yeah, indeed.
We have to prepare our audience, mm-hmm. to the society in its entirety for even the notion of such point of view.
Mm-hmm. To start questioning,
history, our mainstream history,
yes.
point of view.
Exactly. So maybe next question: what implications would it have for our understanding of human history if the evidence supports the idea of previous advanced civilization?
Well, that's a tough one. It would be a revolution, for sure. That's why I think that this changes. We should prepare the society very, very gently and very gradually, because it would destroy the whole paradigm that our civilization stands on right now. Mm-hmm. If we got to know that we are not so special at all, that we are at least second civilization on this planet, and maybe even more. You know better than me that there is a cyclicality of disasters on this planet. Mm-hmm. We have the flood myth is told by almost every culture on this planet. So I think that it would change our whole point of looking at our history and our civilization right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that it would be good if we did, because we need to start paying some attention to what happens in our sky. Mm-hmm. Because there are lots and lots of material in the cosmos that passes our planet, mm-hmm. and we only see the headlines in the internet that some celestial body missed the Earth only by, for example, 100,000 kilometers, and that's a close one. And we really ought to start thinking about defending our planet and our civilization.
Mm-hmm. Taking responsibility, right?
To take responsibility for our planet, because it has happened before, and it will certainly gonna happen again.
Yeah, that's true.
It's only a question of when.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of evidences to that it was already happening, and it just to come like in cyclic way. Yeah, thank you. So, how do you reconcile the alternative historical theories with the widely accepted narrative of human civilization's development and progress?
For sure, it's not reconcilable, because one contradicts the other. Mm-hmm. If we finally succeed to open society's eyes to accept the fact that our human history is much longer and older than the mainstream point of view stands, it's gonna destroy it. Mm-hmm. It's gonna destroy it. Every historical and archaeological textbook will have to be rewritten.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. So, what do you plan to do next in your researches?
Well, I have a lot of plans. For sure, I want to go to South America, and we're planning it for the next year, maybe. Regarding closer places, I would love to go to Turkey to visit the underground cities and to visit Göbekli Tepe for the first time.
Oh, great!
That's one of the things that I would love to do for sure, in the not so distant future.
I hope you will show that material on your channel.
For sure, yeah, for sure I will.
Okay, so already looking forward. And next, what do you hope to achieve through your continued exploration of alternative history and the promotion of these ideas to the public?
Generally, I hope to open people's eyes to the idea that our history is much older than we think it is, and maybe do something good to the world by doing that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And would you like to add anything about archaeological topics, or maybe we can already switch, for example, to this first foundation of creative society?
If there is someone who is watching us and who is new to these topics, that we've shocked him enough for today.
Okay, that's enough today. Yes. So maybe I will just read it for you about this first foundation. And yeah, as well, you are a medical doctor, right? So you are working in this area of healthcare, right? So I think it's very close to you, this understanding how much human life is should be valuable, right? And in just a moment, I will read it to you, and maybe we will a little comment, and maybe you will just share your ideas on that topic. So, human life is the highest value in creative society. Life of any human has to be protected as one's own. The goal of society is to ensure and guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can there be anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable.
Well, you said it all. I think that I can't add anything more than the fact that I would like to live in the world that everyone would think so.
Yeah, and all our actions will be headed directly to that.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, indeed. So thank you so much for the interview on the topic of archaeology, and thank you, our dear viewers, for that you've been with us today and learned a little bit about our history of humanity, about some interesting archaeological findings and facts, and yeah, looking forward to see you again next time.
Roman, if I may, I would like to say one more sentence.
Sure.
I want to say that world is a very interesting place. It's certainly not true that everything has been discovered, and there is a lot of things that are questionable. There are a lot of questions to be answered, and I would like to encourage everyone not to listen to anybody else. Try to do it by yourself. Try to go to these places, see them with your own eyes. The goal of my channel is to provide an equivalent of that, but there is no equivalent of seeing those things, those structures, those relics by your own eyes and to touch them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes.
I appreciate you very much. Bye.